So I really hate to say this, but you kind of have to go to understand Burning Man. But if I try to explain it, there's a spot in the desert surrounded by mountains where there's absolutely nothing. No plants, no people living there, no houses. And then people come for a week and build a city, bringing tons of art, really good music, all sorts of experimentation. You can be whoever you are. And I think that's the really beautiful thing about Burning Man. Whatever you're into, whatever your passion is, that's what you bring, and that's what you do out there. It's a community of sharing, of understanding, of learning, of self-discovery. It's a really great place to kind of evaluate your life, because you can, whoever you are, you can just be. I'm Cherie Yanek. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I'm the race director of the Burning Man Ultramarathon. My first real morning at Burning Man, I went for a run, and my rule at Burning Man is when you go for a run, you stop for whatever looks interesting. So, you know, you might be climbing on a jungle gym or having a cocktail or whatever it is. And so I ran the 5K the first year, and that was really fun. And then I kept telling people I wanted to do ultra, and everyone told me I was crazy. And I ended up the second year at Burning Man really feeling like I really wanted to create this ultra marathon. Like I really wanted to do it. And people started telling me like, oh, I run ultras, that would be cool. And then I was dancing at the Pink Mammoth, one of the big clubs, and I was dancing with this really hot shirtless guy in little short shorts, you know, with a cool little hat or something, you know, the hot burner stereotype guy kind of thing. And there's this old guy in shorts and a Western States 100-miler t-shirt. And I just dropped this hot guy and ran over to the ultra runner and started talking to him. I was so excited. And so then I started to realize, yeah, there are people that are interested in this. And my friend Richard kept hearing me talking, and he said, you want to do this, Cherie? I'm going to help you. And so I think that's what I kind of needed, because I also wanted to also run it at the same time, and I knew that I couldn't do that if I didn't have support. And so the course right now for the 50K, it's flat. It basically runs a start-finish, and main aid station is our camp, and it's a loop course. And what we do is we run down the Esplanade of Burning Man, which is basically like Main Street, where the biggest theme camps are, and then it runs out to what we call Deep Plaza, that's essentially the borders of Burning Man, where there's really not much out there. So you get to see some of the deep, far out art. You get to be kind of quiet, but then you're also in the midst of things. And you're running through people's camps as well, so people are giving you shots, they're giving you champagne, they're giving you whiskey, they're giving you moonshine they made, and they want you to have it. Like, that's the thing about Burning Man, is everybody wants you. They're giving you things for free, so there's no money exchange, but they want you to have this. And you're like, really? You're trying to give me this really awesome homemade whiskey that's absolutely delicious and probably would cost a lot of money, and you don't know me? Yes, because they want you to be happy. So it's like you're running through this really interactive environment of so many different things. We have everyone bring water, carry goggles, and carry bandana, because what can happen at any point during Burning Man is a dust storm. So when there's a dust storm, you can't see anything in front of you. And I remember running, I guess it was 2 years ago, just feeling like I was running on a treadmill, like I was getting pushed backwards because there was like tons of wind and dust coming in my face, and you can't see anything. You just kind of have to look down and keep going. The other thing is the heat. The faster runners, it's not as much of an issue for, but if you're out there and you're running like a 7, 8, 9 hour 50K, it's going to get really, really hot out there. And the sun tends to really start baking you around 11 a.m. and so that can definitely be a big challenge. People have had incidences like somebody needed an IV after running for 8 miles, but as far as I'm concerned, if you need an IV after running 8 miles, you probably did something the night before that you shouldn't have been doing. This one guy I absolutely love, because he really had the spirit of Burning Man and of the ultramarathon. So there's a book for Burning Man, it's called What, Where, When, and it's basically like a little calendar of events at Burning Man. And I put the ultramarathon in there so people would know when it was happening, and it said from 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. So at 3 p.m. pretty much everyone was done, everyone was back at the camp. A lot of people had gone back to their camp. We were just hanging out, and this guy shows up and he says, I'm here for the ultramarathon. I'm here to run the 50K. I just started laughing. I'm like, it's over. And he's like, no, it's not. He's like, look, 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. 3 p.m., it's right now. And I was like, no, it starts at 5 a.m. and it finishes at 3 p.m. And burners are notoriously flaky, so whatever. And so he was disappointed. I said, well, do you want to start now? So he said, okay, I'm going to start in a little bit while. I'll wait till 5 when it cools down a little bit, and I'll start. And so he came back at 5 and started his watch and did the loops by himself. And he said he had a different experience than the rest of us. He said he saw people out in the trash vents having sex, and people were kind of confused, like, why are you here with this race number? Didn't the race already happen? I ended up coming in that night right when he was finishing, so it was really cool. I got to give him a medal and hang out, and he seemed to have a really awesome experience, and I just love that he was like, yeah, I'll do it all by myself. And I think that's what it's about at Burning Man especially. It's about the experience. It's not about like, I'm gonna win this race and run my personal best. Okay, so the first year, I'm not very artistically inclined, so my awesome friend Rochelle silk-screened these medals. They're just wooden discs, and the front says Black Rock City 2010 Ultramarathon, and the back she put the man. And the second year, Rochelle did the design, and my boyfriend actually did the spray painting, but we got some awesome sequin and these giant discs because we kind of wanted to be a little bit obnoxious, you know, obnoxiously big, Black Rock City 50K, and then 2011. And then last year I had this one idea, but it ended up turning into this, which is kind of cool. My boyfriend actually carved these with this wood-burning pen, and each medal is different. So you can see this is mine, BRC 50K 2012, and then his is over here, which is just a little bit different. And they're all really different, and we let people pick out which ones they wanted. One of the things I also love about both burners and ultra runners is you get to the bad things right away. Like, I run in races with people, I don't know their name, I don't know what they did for a living, but I know that this guy's heart is broken by the woman who was his girlfriend who cheated on him, and blah blah blah. Like, your life story comes out really fast on trails when you're ultra running, and in races I tend to like notice that people are just so, they skip all the beginner stuff and you get right to the really bad stuff right away, or the really personal stuff, or whatever it is. And the same thing at Burning Man, like, I was really upset about this relationship problem, and I was walking through this labyrinth and I was just like really upset, and these two strangers came up to me, and it turned out they were on acid, but they were really nice, and they were like, something's wrong with you, and I was like, no, I didn't really want to talk with it, and I could tell they were having a good time and I didn't want to bring them down. They're like, no, you need to talk to us. And so then they talked to me and really counseled me and listened to me and took me out having parties, and you know, they were like, oh, here, you want some drugs? And I was like, no, but you know, like really trying to help me, and they didn't know me, and I mean, they were part of the reason that I ended up leaving a really bad relationship, because I just kind of had this counseling from strangers. You know, you just cut to the grit of who you are. One of the really nice things about the Burning Man Ultra is you're running through this whole experience. It's not even just, oh, I'm doing an ultra marathon. Like, I'm running through a rave camp, and now there's a dubstep camp, and now there's this camp that has like some sort of weird giant telescope, and now I'm running out in the middle of nowhere and I see these beautiful mountains around me, and now a giant carrot comes up driving next to me blasting loud techno, and then there's a birthday cake car also next to it, and then there's people going down a giant slide, and then someone comes up to me and gives me a shot of moonshine that they made back in Tennessee, and then I keep going and see these amazing pieces of art like cats that light up and all sorts of really cool things. And then you have people that won't let you run forward, that you have to take a shot of whiskey or have a cigarette, and then you have to hurdle things, and then people aren't understanding what you're doing, but everybody is so interested. You see so many different people that are hungover, people that haven't gone to bed yet, people that are riding their bikes, a bike covered with hot pink fake fur, and maybe they have nothing on at all, or maybe they have an outfit that looks like it's out of some movie from the 50s, and you never know what you're gonna see. You know, if you have a crappy day, you just walk and you get to see some giant alien come next to you, and it doesn't matter because it's the experience.